Okay. Hi.
Okay, I think, yeah,
Mm,
hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Today we are going to talk about the weather. And
Mm-hmm.
as an introduction, I would like to tell you that in our country, for for want of a topic to discuss whenever you meet a person in the street or a stranger or socializing, the
Mm-hmm.
the easy topic is the weather. If you don't have anything to say, you will talk about the weather and you'll say, "Oh, today is a very nice day. What do you think of the weather here?" If you are talking to uh, a visitor. So, for want of conversation, we always talk about the weather. And every day, everybody is crazy over the weather. Like, in the morning, we might turn on the TV or we look at the weather forecast just in case, it's going to rain and we want to go out, or just to find out if it's a nice day so that we can plan our day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think British people are crazy over the weather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also heard about that. Yeah, English
Yeah,
people are crazy about the weather, and it's always the topic
yeah.
they want to talk about.
How was your weather today?
Yeah, because I'm in the internship, I was how say I'm in a business trip, and I'm in uh, Anhui province, a famous city in
Yeah.
Anhui province, Huangshan city,
Mm,
which is called Huizhou in the past. It's
yeah.
famous for the mountain called Yellow Mountain, little meaning of Huangshan. Do you
Yeah.
know that
I've
Huang
heard of
means
the
yellow,
name. Mm,
Shan
mm,
means mountain.
yeah.
So the weather is very good here. It's sunny all the day, and I have to say it was raining heavily yesterday,
Mm.
and it was raining heavily yesterday, but the weather uh, today is very good. Yeah, and
What is
this
the
is the first day. Mhm.
what is the temperature like? Is it hot or not?
No, no, actually, because it's kind of cold these days.
Oh,
The
yeah,
temperature went
yeah,
down uh, largely, yeah, in the last day, in the day before yesterday,
mm,
and yesterday here in Huangshan, the temperature was around 5 Celsius degree,
yeah,
and the day, because it is sunny, it goes
yeah,
up to 10 or 15 degree, yeah, today. So it's very
yeah.
warm and comfortable today.
That's good. Um, we are quite dull and quite cold as well. It's like 7 degrees, between 3 and 7. So we have a bit of sunshine, but overall it's still quite cold.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, when I was living in Malaysia and when I was at school, our weather there was an equatorial climate, meaning the country lies almost on the equator. So
Hmm.
the weather then becomes hot and wet throughout the year. So we don't get any seasons like spring, summer, autumn, winter. We don't get that. So we only get hot and wet throughout the year. We might get thunderstorms or we might get very hot weather, but we don't get a change of weather as we do in England or as you do in China. So before I came to England, I always dreamt about snow and winter
Hmm.
and spring
Hmm.
because I thought,
Hmm.
it must be so lovely to see the change of seasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially snow.
Mm, yeah. But here in the south of China, snow is hardly seen in a
Yeah.
year. Yeah, only once or twice in a year, but and
Mm,
very small snow. Yeah.
yeah. Even in England, the snow is usually in the higher mountainous area in the north, and not so much in London or where I am. So when we do get snow, we are still rather excited.
Mhm. Yeah.
Here, shall I go on to say,
Yeah.
they are talking about in Northern Europe, daytime temperatures are often quite mild, even
Mhm.
in late autumn. Here they say late autumn, that means probably around November, and that is late
Mhm.
autumn. The days are often misty, foggy, and damp, just
Mhm.
like we experience in England. And then
Mhm.
winter comes with frost, icy roads, and severe weather. And we've
Mhm.
seen all of that this winter. There's even now, the mornings are quite frosty, and some days when it's really cold, the roads are very icy. And even when
Mhm.
I went up after the snow, I thought it had melted, but in fact, um, there was a bit of rain and
Mhm.
turned to ice, and I nearly
Mhm.
slipped. So it is very dangerous if you walk around
Mhm.
icy
Mhm.
roads.
Yeah.
Have you experienced icy roads in your part of the world?
Yeah. Only a few times. I feel like the weather, the temperature is keeping going up in the past decade. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when I was young during my primary school time, it would snow every year, and i- uh, in the winter, and usually at that time the road would become icy,
yeah.
and
So,
it's very yeah it was very dangerous to walk
mm,
on the icy road. And I remember clearly in 2008, the year we held the Olympic Games in
yeah,
Beijing.
mm,
During that year, that winter, uh, it was super cold in the south, and we experienced a very how to say much colder temperature than the previous years,
yeah.
and and it's very it was terrible uh for people at that time, but I was in the primary school and I was so happy to see the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it snowed heavily that year. Mm.
In the West, a lot of people like to travel to the North Europe, to Iceland, because
Mm.
they have lots and lots of snow, and
Mm.
they live in, like, I think they live in igloos. So they say, have you read about it? Like they build the houses out of ice. I don't know whether
Mm.
you have
Yeah.
that in Harbin as well. No?
Mm. No, I don't know because I was born in the south, and I also study in the south, so I had no idea what the habit there in the north of China. I I don't think they would build a house by the ice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In
Only
Greenland, I think, where it's very cold, the Eskimos
mhm,
lived in
mhm.
igloos made of ice.
Yeah,
I don't know whether they still do or not, but maybe they do.
maybe yeah maybe I also heard about that, yeah,
Yeah.
on the internet.
And
It's very interesting.
I heard that in Harbin, your temperatures is about minus 30.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's so cold.
My
I think you're
brother used to go to study there in Harbin,
yeah,
but I only went Harbin once with my brother, but
yeah.
it was in the summer, in the
Mm,
summer holiday, and it was so comfortable in the summer
mm,
there, because in the rest of China,
it's so hot.
in July, August, it was so hot. It's
Yeah.
so hot, yeah, in other places, but it was so comfortable in Harbin at that time. Mm.
Yeah, I think it would be nice to visit the place, especially
Mm,
in the summer when it's everywhere is
mm,
hot and it's so
mm.
comfortable up there.
Yeah, but for me, I prefer summer to winter. Yeah. Uh,
Mm,
when I was uh, 6 or 10 years old, I I was so looking forward to the snow and the winter because I didn't mm, afraid of cold or mm, that kind of thing. Yeah, at that time. But nowadays, I'm I was not comfortable with the cold weather. Yeah, I
yeah, not
always
many
open,
people are
turn
comfortable
on
with it.
the
Mm,
turn on the air condition when the temperature goes going down to 5 degrees Celsius
mm,
degree. Yeah, I just don't like the cold anymore. Yeah.
yeah. And we have central heating in our house. In fact,
Mm,
most houses in this country they have central heating because when it's winter, it's really cold, and we have to put on the heating.
mm,
And the central heating has a bit of a drying effect because if you
mm,
have it on all the time, you feel very dehydrated, as if you need to drink water. But it
mm,
helps to keep away the cold and helps
mm,
you to feel a bit more comfortable in the house. But we don't have the central heating on all night. We have it on for a couple of hours in the morning, or when you actually feel cold, then you could have it for more hours. But
mm,
when it's nighttime, we turn it off and we go to bed under the quilt. So we are not cold. But when
mm.
morning comes around, like 6 o'clock, then we start getting cold and the heating comes on. So, you know, we are then feeling the warmth of the central heating.
Mhm. Yeah, we also have the central heating system, but only in the north.
Yeah.
So ha- uh, uh, I I don't experience, the central heating system,
Mm,
and I think it would be very comfortable
yeah.
uh, in the winter, but it's still very cold outside the house. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one student who actually is in London and he's studying for his PhD and he's staying in the hall of residence in an apartment. And he wrote to me and he asked me, I have a quilt which is um, for tog and the heating is on all the time. So I feel very hot. So what quilt should I buy? So I told him, I said, normally we buy a quilt that is about 13 tog. The
Mm.
quilt is measured in tog, just to give you an
Talk.
idea. Yeah,
Mm,
tog, Tog, is
mm,
a guideline on how warm the quilt is. If it's
mm, mm,
winter, you need a quilt which is about 13, at least 11 to 13. If it's summer,
mm,
then you have a quilt which is very thin and the warmth is only about 4. So he has a
mm,
summer quilt, in other words. But because his
mm,
heating is on full blast day and
mm,
night, so therefore he
mm,
feels very, very hot. So I told him,
mm,
just try and turn down the heating, then you won't
mm,
feel so hot. Besides,
mm,
having it on full blast is not good for your health. You know, it's like
mm,
very suffocating. So
mm.
I think he said afterwards that he's going to turn down the heating. I've not heard from him
Yeah.
since. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think we talk about too much about other topics. We'd
Yeah.
better go back to the textbook.
Yeah. The textbook says the type of wet weather. Like, for example, we may
Mhm,
have a shower. A shower is like just a short drizzle. Like
mhm,
sometimes when you wear a raincoat or a mac, um, during a short shower, you won't get wet. So you don't even need an umbrella. But when it's
mhm,
heavy rain, then of course your coat will get wet and you do need something stronger, a
mhm,
waterproof or an umbrella. Although, having said
mhm,
that, we don't use umbrellas a lot over here because when it is raining, it usually comes with a very strong wind. And if that is the case, your umbrella would just fly all over the place. So it's better to have a good waterproof coat.
Yeah.
Then you see a pour down, like a downpour of rain. That means it rains non-stop for maybe for an hour or half an hour, and you'll be soaked right through because the rain is so heavy. So you call it torrential rain. And sometimes with the torrential rain, you end up getting floods. So we have had floods over certain parts of the country when it's raining really heavily.
Yeah, I see. Torrential rain. Torrential rain
It's like
will
really, really heavy.
usually cause a flood.
Yeah,
Really heavy.
you could have a flood, yes. Especially if you have rivers near your home. They will usually get flooded because maybe the drainage cannot stand the heavy rain, or maybe at sea, in the seaside towns, if it's torrential rain, then they get flooded, and sometimes you get disasters as well, because when it's really flooded, then the people will have to leave their homes and get rescued until the rain stops, because it takes quite a while for the rain to stop, and for the drainage as well.
Yeah. And sorry, I think we haven't done the previous two sections. Yeah. Section A, Section B. We haven't finished the first section, Section A. We still have some tests to go through. Have you noticed that in the Section A, cold weather, we haven't finished that part yet, and Section B, we haven't done that yet. Can you see that?
Okay, you want me to go through Section A about the cold weather?
Yeah, the cold weather. We start at, I think, soon winter arrives with frost, icy roads, and severe weather. Yeah, we stop there.
I'll continue. People expect the weather to be bad. They try and keep warm so they don't freeze. Freeze means very, very cold. It's just another word to say, I'm freezing. That means I'm really cold, or I'm frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yeah. And also, the pipes, you have to insulate the pipes in your house, because otherwise, if the weather is very, very cold, then your pipes will freeze and it will burst. That's one thing that's very common in cold countries.
And I'm not so familiar with the word misty and the weather misty.
Misty is just
misty.
like, for example, if you wake up in the morning and there's a mist, that means there's a cloud covering the atmosphere, and you can't see far. So mist
and what's the difference between misty and foggy? The two
mist
kind of
is
weather.
just like very slight, full of, and mist is more like some water in the atmosphere. Foggy means that it is totally you can't see at all.
Oh, and damp? How about damp?
Damp is just getting wet. Like the weather is very damp. So when you go out, you feel that the water is on your body, and the water is all over the place. You get a layer of water on your front porch or on the roads, then that is dampness. And dampness is not good for your body, because it will make you feel not very well, especially for old people.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Okay. So we carry on to B?
Yeah. I think time is up. Yeah, it's around 20 minutes. Yeah, we can finish the rest in the next video, in the next lesson.
Okay.
Okay, we can stop this one.